Hi, I'm gardening expert Michael Perry and I'm here at Denman to show you a range of different videos with ornamental and edible plants. So maybe you wanted to grow vegetables but you haven't got the space in your garden. Maybe you've only got a small patio area. Maybe you can't get onto the waiting list for an allotment. Well, here's the answer. This is a raised bed for any patio, terrace or balcony area. So you'll see we purchased this wooden crate which is raised above the ground, which means there's no digging, and all you've got to do is fill this with compost and you can grow the same vegetables that you'd grow in any vegetable patch or allotment. So let's plant it up. This is a recycled wood container and this is giving us a great volume of compost in order to grow the very best fruit and vegetables. But of course we need to give them the best start. So we're mixing in a high quality compost which has a good structure which will hold on to the moisture in your container but also has less weed seeds than cheaper varieties of compost. Very often people buy cheap compost and it doesn't perform, and the reason why is because it isn't as good a quality. Giving your plants the even better start by mixing in controlled release fertilizer. Now this is really easy to mix in when you're planting up, and you mix it in at a rate of 2 teaspoons per 10 litres of compost. And this is controlled release. So it's released into the soil for your plants to use over a 6-month period. So that means you haven't got to keep giving your plants compost and fertilizer through the season. So we're mixing that in, as you can see here. Moisture control granules are gardening's best kept secret. You'll see that these are almost like small sponges, so they will soak up the moisture and then keep it locked into the soil. So again, giving you more time to enjoy your garden rather than maintaining it all the time. And we're going to mix those two components into our fresh compost in the container. Isn't that wonderful? So great to have your hands in the compost. Now you may be surprised to see this, but we're going to put some edible flowers into this mix as well. So this is a white viola, and those flowers are edible and they have a slight crunch, so they're very nice colour for summer salads or maybe decorating the top of cupcakes. The next plant we're going to put in is carrots. Now carrots sometimes traditionally would be grown from seed, but nowadays technology means that we can buy them as ready grown plants because germination is not always as straightforward as we may like. So we're just going to remove those from our container and just divide that collection of carrots into 2. So we're going to just do that down the middle, and then we will create almost a row of carrots to place into our small mini allotment here. We're also going to do the same with our other container of carrots. So again, we're going to split that into 2, make that long, and you can already see the baby carrots starting to develop. And it's very exciting because this mixture of carrots is actually the rainbow carrots. So this includes the oranges, the whites, and also the purples. So we're going to plant those carrots into our miniature allotment alongside those violas, and they should be ready to pull within about 6 to 8 weeks as well. So our next edible component will be kale. Now you hear a lot about kale these days. It's extremely healthy, it's used in lots of different smoothies, and it can be roasted in the oven with olive oil, and it's a very decorative vegetable to have in the garden. And we're going to transplant kale into our mini allotment here in a very neat little row as well. So we're proving that you don't need to have an allotment to have vegetables, which is incredible. So we're putting 6 kale plants into there, and remember you can leave them to grow to full size, or you can harvest those as salad leaves as well. So you can harvest them when they're just a few weeks old and use them fresh in your salad. And the next plant we're going to put into our allotment is beetroot, and you can see they're really red from a young stage. Beetroot is very good for you as well and can be cooked, pickled, or used again in smoothies and juices. And you can see the roots are extremely healthy as well and even have that red tinge themselves. So very carefully move that whole row of seedlings from the container into your recycled wooden container ready for your patio allotment. And we're filling in compost along the rows as we go as well. So we've got that row of vegetables there, and look how easy That is, you would have to sow beetroot in a row in the garden, and it's not that easy to germinate. So why not kind of bypass that and create this instant allotment here? So you see that we've very, very gently slid that row of vegetables into our container here. The next plant we're going to put in is some edible flowers against. These are marigolds, but they're not just there to be edible flowers. They're actually there to help to deter whitefly and greenfly from the plants that are around it. So once we put in our chili peppers and our tomatoes, you will find that the marigolds will deter all of those nasty bugs from your container. So it's very worthwhile to have them in there. And of course they are edible too, so you could use them in salads or to decorate cakes. So there's our French marigolds into our mini veg garden. So next, we're going to put in our chili peppers. Now we're going to put those just next to those marigolds so they can benefit from deterring all of those nasty types of aphids. So we're going to plant a bit of a chili pepper garden here. So we're going to space those out a little bit more because they can be slightly bigger plants when they develop. So a little bit of a chili pepper garden there. So make sure when you choose your varieties that you can handle the heat as well. Don't grow too hot a chili pepper if you don't like spicy food. So we're planting those into our container and filling around with compost as we go along, as well as firming in the plants too. Then the very last additions to our containers are tomatoes, and we wouldn't be a vegetable garden without some sort of tomato. But what we've got here are pre-germinated varieties. So again, you're using that gardening shortcut in order to have some of the best, healthiest plants and some of the easiest varieties to grow as well. And what we've got here are dwarf varieties of tomatoes. So these are shorter varieties, multi-branching as well. So they're actually self-supporting. They won't need any big canes in the container because they're just going to grow as a bush through the season. And the best thing about that is they don't need side shooting. Very often taller tomatoes need the small shoots taken out of the sides of the plant, and nobody likes doing that because tomatoes are very pungent and you get the smell on your fingers for many hours afterwards. But dwarf tomatoes are bushy and never need that side shooting. So we filled in our recycled wood container and we've got our mini allotment, but we need to just finish that off with some labels because that will enhance the look of it, and also you'll be reminded of what you have planted into your container. So we've got these nice repurposed slate labels here. So we've got the marigolds there, we've got dwarf tomatoes across here, we've got our chili pepper garden right here. Just going to slide those in. Then we've got the beetroot. Remember, it's going to be really, really easy to grow the very best beetroot, and you can pick them when they're at the baby stage as well. Kale, all of that goodness of the kale, all that fiber, vitamins, minerals. Carrots as well, rainbow carrots. And lastly, violas. So there we've got our mini allotment garden, and the last thing we're going to do is give it a little bit of a water. And of course we built drainage into the base of this container so you won't have any waterlogging, and all the water will drain out and the plants will only take up what they need. So give them a little bit of water to bed them in, and then make sure you water your container every day, and especially during the heat of the summer as well. So within just a few weeks you'll start harvesting your first edible blooms. You'll then have some baby carrots, baby beets, even some kale leaves for your salad, and of course later in the season you've got your chili peppers and your tomatoes, and when you grow your own you have the better flavors too. So enjoy your crop this season and tell us what recipes you come up with. So if you've been inspired by this planting, then please subscribe to us on YouTube or hop onto the WI website to see the whole range of videos that I've prepared for you.